In this lesson, what we're going to go over is how to determine through LinkedIn if someone in your network is a booster or a curmudgeon. And so a booster is someone who responds pretty quickly, connects with you, and wants to help you get into their network or their company. And a curmudgeon is someone who doesn't want to do that, and they demonstrate this behavior by not connecting with you, not responding to your messages, but also they may respond to you, but then be very slow to respond to further communication. And at that time is when you make the determination of whether they are a booster or a curmudgeon. That's a key aspect. So what I would like to do right now is show you on my computer screen what this could start to look like. And so you'll see over here, these are my messages. And actually I've pulled one up, which this is a projected screen in theory on the classroom wall. And you'll notice that I wrote to Dr. Neufeld, who is the president of our university. She is new. I wrote to her at Tuesday at 11 a.m. And I asked her something very critical about her initial message to the university, which was she's about social mobility, and we are a university moving towards being better stewards of data. So I wanted to understand what variables to use to define social mobility to be able to measure it accurately. And she responds less than 24 hours later, which, take into account, she's president of a university and she's got a lot of people who want her time. She responded to me in less than 24 hours with nighttime included, and thanked me for the message, the thoughtful message, and then gave me a time that we could meet up to talk. So in the university, I would categorize Dr. Neufeld as a booster. Why this is important is because when you can link into the different aspects of human capital in an organization and find out who's going to be willing to move you forward, closer to better answers, or get you the resources that you need or are looking for yourself or your students, having these people identified is going to be very key for you. So as a student on campus and you're a new freshman looking at being successful in college, you don't want to take your time, your very precious time that you could be doing homework hopefully, but maybe taking a nap, and wasting that on someone who's not really looking to be helpful for you. So in this class, we're going to talk about some of the ways that you can assess if someone is a booster or a curmudgeon and move forward on that. So does anyone have a reflection on what I just presented about Dr. Neufeld? So I would take questions from the class, and hopefully they would reflect something like, well, you messaged her on one day, she responded in less than 24 hours. And they would also identify that she's president of the university, and to get such a quick response is meaningful. And once I received those answers and sorted through maybe some of the other options and things that people said, I would reflect that this is true. So as we look at an entity that we want to engage with, whether it's a resource, a new workspace, or even a new industry that we want to go into, maybe we thought we were going to have one major and we were researching that, but then we shift into another industry. LinkedIn can be a very important tool to use to find people without having to really leave your office or your apartment room or campus in order to find them. And the reason why that's important is because in an increasingly technological world and an increasingly cloud-based internet world, making sure that you have the skills and abilities to assess who can help you and who understands the etiquette of technology and internet and working in a remote environment will really benefit you in allocating your time and resources, which are very precious for you and others, into the right traffic lanes for success and for quicker success. I would actually call it efficient success. So everyone, you have your laptops out, and let's do a quick exercise. We've already in previous classes registered for LinkedIn and explored how to use it at its basic form. So let's go ahead and everyone go to your homework assignment, who you identified that you wanted to reach out to. We're all going to reach out to someone at the same time today in class. And then by the time we meet next week, hopefully all of your people have responded, but if they have not, that's also an indication. And then we're going to go ahead and use Poll Everywhere next week and see what kind of time frame it took for your person to respond to you. And based on who and what they are and their position, would you classify them as a booster or a curmudgeon? And then we'll talk about what it means for each of those types of folks and how you can use them or not use them, and to not get tripped up by someone who you thought might be a booster, but then turns out to be a curmudgeon, or even turns out to be someone who has a lot going on in their world, and we didn't ask them clarifying questions up front in order to see if they could meet our needs and work with us in the way that we're looking for. So as transitioning veterans, first time on campus, some of the things I hear, and just to tell a little bit of a story, the Vietnam veterans did a really great thing for us in that they really fought for our entitlements and the things that we obtain when we leave service. But that being said, we don't just get things. You still have to do the work to access the things, the resources, and the understanding of them. And so, I have a story of someone who on LinkedIn actually reached out to me, and when I said that I didn't have the space at that moment to reach back to them, but I gave them a couple weeks later, they actually became a little bit aggressive and hostile with me through messaging, which really turned me off to supporting them or to helping them even in the future. Contrast that with another person who reached out to me and introduced themselves, said why they were interested in meeting me, that we had these things in common, point 1, 2, and 3. And then they said that they respected my time and understood that I was a busy person, but that they also could find a lot of value in connecting with me and having an informational interview. And so we worked out a time to come on campus and grab lunch together, a little bit of multitasking on my part, which they offered. And then they were able to pick my brain and see what was going on. And they were close enough to campus to be able to do that. But I would have been just as happy to do it by a Zoom conference, so they could have been remote. So those are a couple of the ways that you can access a new network, someone new, get bold, find boosters and people who are willing to support you and share the information that they have and they've gleaned, so that you don't have to take your time going through the same mistakes that they might have gone through. Or maybe they just already understood how to be successful and they can impart those concepts onto you guys. Thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to hearing back on what kind of response rate we got from the class. And then what we'll do is we'll aggregate that to all of the sections I've had in the last few years, and we'll see what the averages look like. Thanks so much.